Hello and welcome to my channel. This is my first video or my first podcast, so I will listen to it and make any necessary changes for the better of my of this transmission. My name is Beyond Wisdom, and I'm here to share the information that has been given to me by higher beings. I am a Pleidian starseed here to help in the transmission of information and the overall ascension, both individual and collective, of the human collective. Um, I would first like to begin with a conversation with the Pleiadians. This information was given to me on the 2nd of January in 2023. I have recorded it inside of my spirit book, and I think it's time to share. So, many of you listening to my podcast right now, if you have landed here, you would have already gotten the overall sense of spirituality, and you are probably learning about different beings that inhabit our solar system and different beings that are incarnating on earth right now, to witness and to help with the great ascension of planet Gaia. I have invited other beings, beings of light, Pleiadian beings, archangels, and anyone who would like to aid me in this transmission of information. My energy has been cleansed, and we are ready for the transmission. So, on this day, this conversation was an excerpt from a quantum healing hypnosis session done by Miss Heather Hink, and her YouTube channel is Quantum Healing Within, and I put the link in the description below so you can go check out her channel as well. But I am only sharing not to steal her information or anything like that, or to copyright, her information, but things that just stand out to me, I want to share. I wrote it down, and I just feel compelled to share. So this is not something to downgrade her. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the podcast. So, the Pleiadian civilization had a very daunting message to send on this day. They say that the time is now, that this is not the time to be doing anything that lowers frequency. This is the time to be removing parasites. Now, what is considered a parasite? A parasite is anything that you basically don't like, meaning it could be a person, it could be a job, it could be a task, it could be food, anything that you do not basically find joy in doing, because joy is a birthright. So anything that you do not find joy in doing, it is time to let it go. When I say joy is a birthright, I mean we did not incarnate on earth or on Gaia, as is one of her more ancestral names, to work until we die. There is beauty in nature, and there is beauty in doing the activities that brings you joy. Okay, so continuing on what parasites are, I see foods that you know makes you sick. Burgers, I should know. I've worked in a burger joint for a while, and it's so easy. It's so quick. It's so easy to eat, easy to get. 2 minutes and everything's ready. So I know how hard it can be to resist temptations when you're in those settings. So we are not saying that you should downright just let it go, because we know that's hard. The frequency attached to fried foods and tasty foods, foods that are delicious, is one that is very strong, and it draws you in. So just take it as a time. If you eat 2 burgers a day, try eating one. If you eat one 5 days for the week, try doing it 3. Pace yourself, and do not hold yourself to unrealistic expectations. Okay? Number 3 on my list of parasites is the actual worms in the body. And these worms travel mainly through meat. So if you're someone who likes tartar, sushi, things like that, where the meat is raw and the parasites have not gotten the chance to be, properly cooked or killed off, killed off, just be mindful that you are letting in those two-dimensional beings. These two-dimensional parasitic beings, they need a host to survive, and you are the host. Okay? Let's talk a little bit more about parasites. So, parasites are, like I said, these two-dimensional beings that have to feed off of a living host in order to survive. They cannot survive on their own. They cannot survive without a host. So these beings, they whatever you eat, whatever you enjoy eating, they eat that as well, and they cause you to crave more of that food. So if you don't normally eat burgers, for example, and you eat a burger once a week, the parasites will crave that thing, and they will allow you to go for another burger another day, and then another one, and then another one, and before you know it, you're eating burgers 7 days of the week. This is not speculation. I didn't normally eat the burgers, every day, but since working in a burger joint, I found myself craving them, and that's something that I didn't normally do on a daily basis. So what these parasites do, once they found a host that they're comfortable eating and surviving off of, they cause anemia and heavy bleeding. Okay? So parasites cause anemia and heavy bleeding in the host, especially women, right? So as women, we have to get the parasites in our bodies under control. And the information I have here says, and when you are anemic and you fast, you are actually starving them, and they end up dying. The mature ones end up dying, but always remember that they are creating eggs. They are laying eggs inside of your system. right? So you have to remember those things. You could be, if you're going to do a parasite cleanse, a parasitic cleanse, you have to be consistent with it, because if you are not consistent, you could kill off the mature parasites, but the children and the eggs that are formed, they will only hatch, and you'll find yourself craving some of the things that you just thought that you had let go. So it's good to follow through with your fasting and cleanse your body of those parasites. Okay. So that is just a little bit of information that I wanted to share regarding parasites. This is a message that was given by the Pleiadians, and I did add some of the information based on my personal experiences, and my personal experiences dealing with parasites. So I've had anemia, I've been anemic, I've had the heavy bleeding, and I did my research, and lo and behold, this information found me as well. So I just wanted to share it with you, for anyone that is having, that notices themselves becoming anemic, and also anyone that notices peculiar, heavy bleeding that was never there before. So this is just a little tidbit, a little bit of advice. In the next video, I will be covering artificial intelligence. This is also a transmission from the Pleiadians, and it's also the, what shall I say, continuation of this podcast. As we know, artificial intelligence, it also needs a host to survive. That's why you have so many tantalizing apps and things that just grab your attention, and you are the host. So artificial intelligence is just another type of parasite, and we'll dive into that into the next video or the next podcast. So you can subscribe and check back with me, turn on the bell notifications to receive, so you can know when I post the next podcast. In love and light, I leave you.